what you got to watch for is that's the fire ant hill. This rock looks fairly similar to that in the field. This is most definitely a rock, and that would most definitely tear something off pieces. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to, I guess you'd call it day 3 of soybean harvest. First day, we got 2 truckloads cut. Last night, we got 1 truckload, cut. And we're gonna try to do the same today. We got the John Deere 6620 behind us here. It should be ready to go. I'm gonna check the oil, fire it up, and let it warm up here in a minute. I'm gonna get the drone up and get y'all a little bit of drone footage here. But soybean fields just sure are beautiful when you get done with them. I mean, you know, they're not a very pretty crop when they're still standing, but once you get it cut, especially this year, we don't have much trash, much weeds growing in it yet. It's pretty. But let's get the combine ready here, check it out, and get it fired up. And let's get some beans in the hopper and get Jack to work here. He is ready to go, aren't you, buddy? All right, we are back in the cab. I just got a little drone footage for you guys. I also got a little footage of you down here on the header and behind me in the grain bin. I haven't had much chance so far this harvest to get y'all much footage like that. We've been trying to knock out the acres as hard as we can. It's kind of tough getting off of evening at 5, 6 o'clock. Most of the time we're not home until about 6, and then trying to come home and do this and keep up with deer corn orders. We worked last night till 10 o'clock bagging deer corn. Not complaining, nobody gets me wrong there, but this is a lot of work. But we're getting there, and we're gonna make it work one way or the other. So, on with Jack. Still somewhere in that 55 to 60 bushel range. We've dropped down a little bit. This hillside's not quite as good, but we are getting truck samples each time weighing our truck. So when we're done, we'll know exactly how much grain we've harvested. This is about a 35-acre field, so we'll be able to pretty easily equate what we got off of this farm. So anyway, we're going to keep on riding back and forth. Jack and I, Coleman he's taking the dump truck to weigh it and dump it in the bins, and he'll be back over here in a little while, hopefully before I'm full. Which, with me taking that drone footage and everything, I haven't cut very fast, so we're not very full yet. These beans are super duper dry, really way too dry. The plants are dry, everything is dry. The stalks are kind of chopping up there behind us. See it? I'm doing a pretty decent job of keeping our bean splits down. There's some that are still splitting, but I mean, these beans are hard as a rock, so. But I mean, they're still turning out pretty decent, especially here in spots. This hill here is a little weaker ground, but all this ground here I think is pretty weak. But we put about 2 to 2.5 tons of chicken litter to the acre before we planted these beans. And then, like I've said earlier, this is an agri-gold bean. We didn't come over the top of these beans and spray them with any type of a fungicide. Kind of wish I would have now, but you know, they're still making pretty good for what it is. And with commodity prices so low this year, I just didn't want to spend a whole lot in it. Basically all this ground, you know, I've kind of paid for it out of pocket. I did take out an operational loan there just for a short period until I sold some stuff, but I didn't want to get too far out of pocket. I like to try to farm that way where I'm not having to borrow money. I know that's not always possible or logistical or anything of those matters. I know a lot of people can't, and I'm not trying to poop on y'all guys. I'm not saying that I won't, because you know, if we pick up a lot of acres this next year, we might have to as well. But I don't have near as much to lose if I don't, you know, take out loans and stuff, and I don't have to pay interest. So, like I've said many times, my full-time job supports my family and my home, and then also kind of supports the farming habit, helps us be able to grow, buy equipment, and then I try to just take the farm and put everything for the farm back into itself. So we're constantly growing, getting better, getting nicer things, upgrading stuff, fixing stuff, trying to make life easier on me, so when I come home late of a night, I don't have to work so hard. But anyway, we're growing slowly and steadily. I'm happy, and I'm pretty tickled so far with this soybean harvest. So I've got my extension agent coming out tomorrow. I'm going to take off early from school. We have our yield plot here. It's a biological plot. If y'all go back and watch the video from this spring when we planted it, I'm pretty sure I showed y'all the back of what it was. There were big promises made from last year when they tried it, but I don't trust most of that stuff until I see it for myself. So we're going to try that out tomorrow. We have a liquid lime plot down on the other farm. We're going to try to knock both of those out tomorrow evening. So that'll take some time. But once we get those knocked out, we'll be able to knock out all 45 acres of our earlier beans. And then we're going to switch into chicken litter, spraying, and planting wheat. I'm probably going to put Coleman running the drill and the 4250, and then I'm going to be spraying and spreading chicken litter on our wheat ground. So plenty of stuff coming down the pipeline here if I can get it all edited. I'm sorry if this video is quite a bit behind. You know, I can't do but so much, so running myself ragged, but I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy reading y'all's comments and things and making some people's days. So if y'all like it, you just keep letting me know, that way I know to keep making them. If you guys remember back from when we planted this, or if you don't, you're welcome to go back and look at it. We borrowed a neighbor's Kinsey planter. It's a 6-row planter with the split units. So we were planting 11 rows on 15-inch rows. First 15-inch row beans I've ever planted, but I really like them. I don't know if it was, you know, this variety or the fact that it was 15-inch rows, or maybe just sheer luck, but usually I have a lot of beans to lay over really bad and lay down, but these are standing great. And I can really roll on cutting with them really well. They're not near as tough when they're standing up. They don't have near as many leaves and things on them, so they're not near as dusty either. I mean, they're still dusty, but nothing, a lot better than I've had before. I really like this bean so far from what I've seen though. I say up here on top of this hill, the yields are down a little bit. We're about 52, anywhere between 50 and 70 up here on top. They'll probably average, what, about 55 or 60, which is pretty good for a hill that was, you know, most of this ground I think is pretty poor. I'm gonna get some soil samples done on it here, hopefully pretty soon. We're gonna try to get some lime put out on all of our ground this fall if we have time and it stays dry enough. And we're gonna continue loading it up with chicken litter as long as I'm able to get it year after year and try to build this ground up. Luckily I spotted it. There's a rock right there. Let's go get it. Sit down. Should have raised my reel up, make it a little easier. We don't want them bad girls going in there. See, what you got to watch for is that's a fire ant hill. This rock looks fairly similar to that in the field. This is most definitely a rock, and that would most definitely tear something all to pieces. Go find a ditch to throw this whopper in. Daggum rocks. What a mess. I'll walk up here and check our sample out here, make sure we're not throwing out any grain on the ground. There was 1, 2. Let's get over here towards the center. I see a couple here and there, but I don't see nothing very bad. There's maybe 2 or 3 here in the foot area. And over here I don't see any, so I think we got her pretty good. I've been trying to clean our sample up a little bit. With these things getting so dry, the stems are starting to bust open, and we're getting some of that stem in the grain tank. Nothing excessive, but I like to try to keep mine just as clean as I can. Oh, girl, putting in some work. This is a beautiful piece of property here. I love it. Coleman has made it to the field here. Jack's having fun out here. He loves this. It's all right, buddy. We're gonna keep combining. Yeah. See the beans going down back here. All right, guys. So we are done for the night. I'm gonna take my Milwaukee leaf blower here. We're gonna blow the combine off. Try to get as much of the dust off as we can. If we have much of a dew and it sets on that dust, it turns to concrete. So let's get her blowed off. I'm ready to go home and get something to eat. Wait a minute. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come here. You dumb dog. Now you want to jump.